Well, hey YouTube, welcome back. Excited to share another video with you for the love of Cobs and kind of branching out a little bit. I know I've done a series of closer look videos, really highlighting some of the pipes in my Cob collection, and especially for other Cob lovers out there who might be considering adding some of these to your collection. Wanted to provide a closer look, give you some detailed photos and just a little bit of my own take on these pipes and just what they're like, and the experience of holding one up close and things like that. Kind of getting away from that a little bit this with this video, and wanted to venture a little bit more into kind of the pipe stories and things like that, different experiences. And with this one, I want to highlight what have become two of my favorite corncob pipes in my collection. In fact, I would actually put these at the top 1 and 2 spots in my rotation. I've talked about one of them before. The other one I wasn't sure I was going to talk about at all, just because it's gotten a lot of airtime already on YouTube, and it's been around for a long time. So let me cut to the chase here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about these pipes and just some of the things that I've learned about them, and some things that I've done to maybe upgrade them, and some things I've learned along the way. And then I'm going to show you some closer looks, some photos and things like that toward the end of the video with this one. But my top number one favorite pipe is the Country Gentleman. The Country Gentleman. Now, like I said, this is the one. I haven't talked about it yet because, like I said, it's gotten a lot of airtime. Plenty of other videos out there talking about the Country Gentleman. People have been posting videos about this one for years. I mean, literally, I find so many videos that go back like 3, 5, 8 years where people are showcasing this one. But here's the thing with this one, with the Country Gentleman. I mean, I was probably already at least half a dozen Cobs into my collection already. And really, as I was adding new pipes to my collection, I was really kind of focusing on the pipes that were just a little bit more upscale, a little bit more interesting or unique, kind of collector's pieces and things like that. And so I wasn't even sure that I was ever going to bother getting a Country Gentleman, one that's so common and so prevalent and been around for so long. But I'd heard so many people talk about this in their YouTube videos and product reviews and things like that. And people were just raving, have for a long time, have just been raving about the Country Gentleman. And so I thought, and in fact, it was something, I mean, hearing this again and again, like if you are a Cob lover at all, like if you have any corncob pipes, then you need to have at least one Country Gentleman in your collection. So I'd heard that enough that I decided to just go ahead and put this in my wish list at corncobpipes.com. And I thought, one of these days, I mean, it's in that mid-tier price range. One of these days, I'll just go ahead and throw it in the cart, and that way I at least have one in my collection. And so I had it in my wish list. Well, then my wife spotted it there in my wish list, and when she was picking up my Christmas gifts last year, she decided to put this one in the mix with a few others. And so that's the only reason I ended up with the corncob pipe. But I got to tell, or with the Country Gentleman corncob pipe. But I got to tell you, as soon as I held it in my hand, I realized this is something. I mean, this is special, and I don't even know if I could really pinpoint why it is, because in so many ways it's just kind of the basic mid-tier corncob pipe. In fact, in a lot of ways, it's a lot like the Boone, which I've talked about in previous videos. And it was my very first corncob pipe, which again was another reason why I thought, I don't even know if I need a Country Gentleman. I've already got the Boone. They're so similar, just different finishes. But, and so I just wasn't expecting it to be kind of a standout to me. But as soon as I held it, I mean, there is a difference in the feel. This Cob is slightly larger than the Boone, a little more substantial. The walls are a little thicker, which I love. The finish, I mean, the finish is, I love this dark stain finish. So so anyway, right out of the box, I knew, okay, this is cooler than I expected. This is a nicer pipe than I expected. And then I started smoking it. And then I made the decision to swap out the stem for an acrylic stem from Vermont Freehand, one of their forever stems. And from that point forward, this truly has become my number one favorite pipe. I'm now 13, actually technically 14 Cobs into my collection. And this is my very favorite one. In fact, I smoked it this morning, with a little lane limited RLP6, and it was a 45-minute smoke, down to the bottom of the bowl, no dottle, no relights, cool and dry through the entire thing. It was beautiful. And that's become kind of the consistent experience that I have with the Country Gentleman. It's awesome. And so, as I mentioned, though, I did make the decision to upgrade the stem, and I really feel like that was a game changer for this pipe. I liked it a lot already, but once I switched over to this, which is beautiful. I mean, this amber tortoise acrylic stem, which I then kind of added this little copper band to kind of accent it, and now aesthetically, I love it as much as anything in my collection. But again, it just smokes better than anything else I have, and I can't explain why. It just does. So I want to say a little bit though about the experience with Vermont Freehand, because I know a lot of cob smokers out there do this. And if you're new to cob smoking and you haven't done this yet, just a couple of things that I've learned as I've done this, but that I thought I would pass on to you. So I did the same thing with the Boone at the same time. So this is what I've learned. I mean, you're going to spend about 18 bucks on a stem from Vermont Freehand, which is, I mean, in my opinion, that's fine. No big deal. But if you're only getting one, well, then you pay shipping on top of that. And so it really does make sense to go ahead and order more with your stem, whether that's multiple stems, whether that's other accents that you want to add to your pipes, whether it's, even buying the cob through Vermont Freehand and then buying the stem that you want to know, you're going to put on that pipe along with it. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But however you play that, I mean, it just makes sense to put more in your order. So that's what I did. I got 3 stems with this order, and I got 3 ferrules with that as well, different colors. I wanted to experiment and do some different things. So this beautiful, this is my number 2 pipe, by the way. They kind of go back and forth. The Country Gentleman and the Boone. I love these 2 pipes, especially after the acrylic upgrade. On this one, I went with the dark gray swirl acrylic stem, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it is just, I don't know if you can really, if this is going to do it justice. I'll share some photos toward the end of the video, but it's beautiful, feels great, looks great. I love it. And then as I mentioned, I went with this amber tortoise stem on the Country Gentleman. So a couple things I learned with this, aside from, waiting until you want to add more than just one stem to make your order, it just makes more sense with shipping. But the one thing you'll see on the website and in the packaging with the stem, if you ever go this route, is that they say over and over again that these acrylic stems are made to be put onto a new pipe that's never been smoked. I had smoked both the Boone and the Country Gentleman before I added the acrylic stem. So I wasn't sure how they were going to fit. When I put the replacement stem on the Boone, it fit perfectly, no problems, and it's been fine. But when I added the stem, this stem to the Country Gentleman, it was very, very loose. It was so loose, in fact, that I wasn't sure that I could even clench it without the bowl and the shank actually separating from the stem. So I was a little worried. I wasn't sure if this was going to work and what to do. So what I did was I went ahead and I smoked a bowl with the acrylic stem, And it was, I mean, it ended up, it held in place. You know, it didn't just fall right off, but it was still very loose. But by the end, and at times I just held it to make sure that it was gonna stay in place. But it functioned fine, and I was able to get through that bowl. And by the end of that smoke, by the end of that session, the shank had basically shrunk or swelled or whatever, but it had tightened around the tenon of the stem, and it is now a firm. There's no wiggle in that whatsoever right now. So the stem or the shank really has kind of reformed to the size of this stem, and it's beautiful. Now I have no concerns about that ever coming separated when it's not supposed to. So just something, you may have had a similar experience where you had a stem that didn't appear like it was going to fit. It was just way too loose. If you get through at least one bowl smoking it with that new stem, you might find that the shank is going to reform around that and work out just fine. So anyway, there you have it, my top 2 pipes in my rotation. And I really do love these pipes. And both of them, I mean, just in their standard format, come in under 20 bucks. Then if you want to add any kind of acrylic, then you're looking at another 18 bucks, at least at current prices. And so all in, I'm still at about what I would normally pay for one of the premium corncob pipes through Missouri Meerschaum. But, and as much as I love my premium cobs, these have taken the top spot, and couldn't be happier with these. So anyway, I would love to hear just kind of what you've done, you know, with your corncob pipes, how you've modified those in terms of swapping out stems and things like that. Do you have the Country Gentleman, and what's been your experience with that? And anything else you want to add to this just from the conversation, would love to hear from you. So thanks for watching, and hope this was enjoyable, maybe added a little value for you as you're building your cob collection. And as I sign off here, one thing I've learned recently, the kids don't necessarily say this. That's, you know, I'm a dad, and so as often as I try to pick up some of my kids' slang, I'm not real good at it all the time. But anyway, I still like saying it, so I'm just going to keep saying it. Stay lit, pipers, and have a great day, and I'll see you next time.